What is up everyone? I'm back on the mic today from Spectral Sound, and today I'm going to show you how I remade the main growl bass from the song Nasty by Datsik and Virtual Riot. Sounds a little something like this. That main growl bass that you hear falling down right at the beginning. So this is my recreation right here. Now, I know the MIDI notes for this are probably wrong. This note is probably extended, listening back, but it's not about the MIDI, it's about the actual sound. And the actual sound here is sick, if I say so myself. The only post-processing we have on this is a limiter, and that is purely for the tutorial because there are gonna be parts when I'm adding effects when the sound is gonna get extremely loud, and then we're gonna bring it down with like compression and other stuff. So this is just keeping it contained. You can see when I'm playing the sound, it's not even doing anything to the sound right here. It's only gonna do that when I'm doing the tutorial. So if you are following along with this in the patch, just know that it will get very, very loud at some points, and that's all this limiter is doing. It's gonna just keep it at a steady level for the sake of the tutorial. All right, so here is the patch with everything turned on. Let's flip on oscillator A. This first oscillator is going to be a Cymatics growl table. However, it's one of the free growl tables. They gave out a pack of like a bunch of growl tables. Let's see. User, yeah, here it is. It's like 25 growl tables, and they're really cool. You should go check them out. It's just a free download. But I use growl table 6. The link to that will be down in the description below. But like I said, you can always just download the preset. That'd be a lot easier. So let's drop this bad boy down 1 octave. We have the wavetable position at 163, going up 36 with LFO1. Now LFO1, this is kind of a very specific shape that we're working with here to get the exact tone of the sound. I didn't push it all the way up. It's going up just above this last line right here, right in the middle. So it's just not quite to the very top, just almost there to get the right tone of the sound, because I made the sound and then messed around with this amplitude to see how close I could get it to the original. The level is going to be all the way down, modulating up 100% with LFO1. Also, FM from B is flipped on at 15%, and we're going to be modulating it up just 7, just a little bit of harmonic movement there. You also want to turn the phase down to 0 and the random down to 0. That's going to be very critical for the FM, because if you don't have those turned down, your sound's going to sound a little bit different every time it plays, and that can be cool. However, for the sake of like making a recreation, it's not always the best. It's better to just control that manually with the phase. So I just have it all the way down with both of those for this one. With just oscillator A, this is how it sounds. All right, so we're getting a little bit of growly motion there, but the FM isn't actually doing anything right now because we haven't flipped on oscillator B. Let's do that. I just have the basic shape selected, and this is going to be a pulse width modulated square wave. And it's going to be, the wavetable number is wavetable 6. It's just the highest pulse width modulated square that you have on these basic shapes right here. The level is all the way down because we don't want any output from this. All we want is the FM. I have sync turned on at 1.86, modulating up 12. And this sync that you see happening right here gives it a really rich harmonic tone that really comes out when you add distortion and multiband compression. There's going to be a lot of stuff we're doing in the effects to, affect that. But it's very, very nice on growls such as these. It gets you a really rich high end that was definitely there in the original sound. We're going to bump this up 3 octaves and up 7 semitones. And a 7th, when you're doing FM, if you add it up a 7th, it just adds, a lot of harmonics. That you gain a lot of harmonics from the FM when it's up a 7th, because a 7th is a very pure tone to the original sound. You can see if I turn it down just to a normal FM, and then up a 7th. It's hard to hear right now, but you're hearing a little bit more high end and just more harmonic interaction in the top end of the sound. It will come out a lot more once we put on other effects and things such as distortion and things like that. So more is going to happen with that. Doesn't sound like it's doing much, but it really is. And I can show you the result of that at the end of the tutorial once we've added all the other effects. Let's add a little bit of sub here. We're going to flip on the sub oscillator, select a rounded square wave right here, and we're going to go direct out. It's going to be down 1 octave, and the level is at 0, modulating up 75 with LFO1 here. So just very basic sub patch right here. Throw on some noise. I just chose the bright white for this one. The level is all the way down, going up 25 with LFO1. That is all you have to do for that, just a little bit more high end. And now with the sub and the noise is what it sounds like. All right, let's kind of shape this sound with a filter real quick. I chose a peak notch filter 12, that's in the multi tab right there. And I turned the drive up to 65%. Now that's one of the most important things about this filter. You can hear when I have the filter on versus when I have the mix all the way down. The main thing that's working here is the drive. You are getting some more, vowel, formanty movement action with the peak and the notch. However, the main, driving force in this is the drive right there. So that's a key factor in this filter. The cutoff is at 17 hertz going up 40. So we got a nice sweeping action of the peak filter right there. The resonance is at 40%. And the frequency of the notch filter is 63 going down -28. So a classic kind of double sweeping motion happening there. Real quick, before I forget, let's go over the vibrato that I am automating right here with this. Now I'm not automating the vibrato itself, I'm just automating the level of the vibrato with the mod wheel, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. First, LFO2 is gonna be the vibrato itself. I just created this kind of wonky little shape. You can use whatever vibrato shape you prefer. You could use a sine wave, a triangle wave, whatever, is to your liking. But I just kind of messed around with different shapes, and I found that this one created a pretty clean vibrato for this style growl. So I just made this kind of shape. It's on, I turned BPM off, and it's on 8.6 hertz. So it's not exactly even to the rhythm, but with a vibrato, it doesn't necessarily have to be. So now let's map this. We throw on LFO2 for the source. We put on master tune, which is in the global tab right there. And we're going to turn it up just one. One is fine, just a little bit. For the aux source, we are going to select mod wheel. And basically, when you select an aux source, that's the equivalent of assigning this to a modulation. Like when I move the mod wheel up and down, it's the equivalent of this right here, which is the output, the actual sound. It's basically dry wet is what that is. So that's what the mod wheel is doing right here. I'm automating the vibrato to come in over time. That is all you need to do for that. Very simple. Let's go into the effects. First thing we're going to do is throw on a little bit of hyper dimension. The mix is at 25%. The size is all the way down, and the mix is modulating from 0 up 40 with LFO1 right here. The next effect we have is a filter, which is a high pass notch filter. Just more, more shaping of the vowel and formant. So the cutoff is at 77 hertz. If you start out, like you put your modulation on for LFO1, it'll probably start out looking something like that. And the easy way to change it is to just go Shift, Alt, click, and that's all you need to do. It is now bipolar. You can do that by going into the matrix tab and selecting like these arrows to make it bipolar or unipolar, but it's just a lot easier to go Shift, Alt, click. It is up 60% and the cutoff is at 77 hertz. The resonance is at 50%, going up 20, and I put the drive up at 20%. The frequency is at 70%, going down -18. So this cutoff right here is the high pass filter, and this frequency is the notch filter going down. Mix for that one is all the way up, and now with the hyperdimension filter, this is what we have. All right, this sound is really starting to come into shape. So we're gonna throw the EQ on it, just more modulation and shaping of the sound. On this side of the EQ, we have a high pass. The frequency is at 50 hertz, going up 37. The Q factor is 50, going up 25. So we just get more high pass, vowel-y movement. All right, that sounds really, really nice. For this peak right here, it's actually going down to a notch on the other side of the filter because we're modulating the gain back and forth over the 50%. So the frequency is at 4469, going down -26. The Q factor is just at 50%. And the gain is going from -14, it's going up 45. So it goes into the positive area. So we get peakage up right here, and then we get some dips in the frequency spectrum right here. It sounds very, very nice. However, it's very messy. Like it's very mid-heavy. It's not an even frequency range. We need compression in this, specifically multi-band compression. So just click on the compressor, flip on multi-band. The threshold is at -18 decibels. And the ratio is 5:1. I turned the gain up just 3 to get a little more power behind it. The only thing I changed in these bands is I brought the mid band down 90% because you could hear it is very mid heavy. I just wanted to control that just a little bit more. And now with the compressor, this is what it sounds like. All right, very, very nice. Time for a little bit of disto. Let's throw on some hard clip. Actually, no, a lot of disto, because we're turning the drive all the way up on this bad boy. The hard clip is a very natural, very clean sounding distortion. I never think I described distortion as clean, but that's what it is. It only starts distorting at the very highest point. So that's why I chose that one versus the tube distortion, which distorts every frequency no matter how loud it is. With the distortion, this is what we have. Ooh, that's really crunchy. All right, let's throw on a phaser. We have the rate all the way down on this, and the depth is all the way down as well. The frequency is at 46 hertz, going up 21. So that classic kind of, movement of the phaser frequency to accentuate the vowel. I have the mix here at 30%. And this is what it sounds like. Now you can see when I turn the mix all the way up, those are the frequencies that we are highlighting there. So we just want to mix that in just a little bit. We don't want to make it too strong. All right, we're almost done here. Just a couple more effects. Let's throw on a chorus. The rate is 0.08 hertz. Delay 1 is at 5 milliseconds, and delay 2 is all the way down at 0. The depth is all the way up for this one at 26, and feedback is down at 10%. Turn the low pass filter all the way up so we get all of the frequencies, and the mix is going to be all the way down. However, it's not always going to be all the way down. I have envelope 1 modulating the mix here up 40%. So envelope 1 is what's controlling the master volume. You can see like when I lift a note, let me press a note. It's going up right here. Just watch this little modulation here. When I lift up the note, it falls right back down because envelope 1 is controlling how high it is. Because when I had the chorus on the way it is, you see delay 1 is a fairly high delay at 5 milliseconds. So when I lift my finger, you could hear that there was, a little delay, a little clickage at the end. I really didn't want that. So controlling that with envelope 1 was the solution to that problem. The final effect for this sound is a reverb. The size is at 35% and the pre-delay is all the way down. It's on a plate reverb, by the way. That's important. I cut the low frequencies at 20% and I rolled off the high frequencies at 20% as well. The damp I brought up to 35 and the width is all the way up to 100. With the full mix, this is what the reverb itself sounds like. So it's really kind of metallic, thick, warm reverb. So we just want to mix that in. This sound didn't have a huge, ton of reverb on it. We just want a little bit at around 10% maybe. And we could throw on a little bit more, maybe like 15 or so. Wherever the reverb is really up to, up to you, whatever you like it. That's a little bit much. Let's just bring it down to, 11, whatever. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. So that is the sound. We have finished it. Real quick, let me just mess around with this FM so you can see exactly what's going on here. Without the FM at all, it sounds pretty bland. It still sounds okay, but it's not nearly as rich as this. Also, let's turn this down from 7 to 0 so you can hear the effect. You can hear that you still got a little more warmth in the high end, but not nearly as much as if you put it on 7. It just gives it a lot richer harmonic content. All right, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to download the preset and the wavetable in the description below. Also, don't forget to follow me on SoundCloud and Instagram, all that stuff. Links in the description below. Consider subscribing for absolutely no reason at all, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.